Welcome in to Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here with Lee Smith. We're heading out to the ballpark to cover the Braves tonight. Covering the Braves hosting the Cardinals, a 3-game set. The Braves right now have won like 1 million series in a row. They went to the West Coast, came back with an 8-2 mark on the West Coast. But more notably, they won 3 of 4 against the Dodgers, who seem to be maybe their biggest competition, Lee.
Yep, second in all of baseball in wins, and they just went over there to the Dodgers, kicked some tail, took 3 out of 4. Ronald Acuna looked absolutely awesome. I think he probably just locked up the MVP right there, because you go into that hostile place with a streak that the Dodgers were on, and you go in and do that. You hit a grand slam. You hit another home run. I think he hit 3 home runs in that entire series. So, huge weekend for the Braves, and now they've got Cardinals in town.
And they've just recalled Michael Soroka.
They did. Which, I mean, that's good for the Braves rotation, because you got to have depth at the end of the season, and guess what? They're trying to do that.
Yeah, so they swept the Cardinals in 3 games in St. Louis earlier this year.
Is that good?
They went 4-3 against St. Louis last season.
And right now the Cardinals are 59-78. 59-78, and the Braves are 90-46. That's insane.
And listen, they have won 14 of their last 18 games, 17 of 22 versus St. Louis. I mean, these stats sometimes just don't even seem real, because that's how good the Braves are. But yeah, right now they're on an absolute roll. About a month left of the regular season.
Yeah.
And then we're really going to start having some fun. So I like their consistency all season. That's one thing that we can't say that they have deviated from, Lee, is just how consistent they've been offensively, defensively, and even their pitching. So, you know, for me right now, like, I believe who the Braves are, and I believe they're going to continue to do everything right through the postseason, and they're the team to beat right now. They have the most wins in the MLB. I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. So they're at home with the Cardinals, 3-game set. And then I believe they have the Phillies. Let me make sure.
Well, either way, they're I'm pretty sure it's safe to say they're going to win at least a couple of these games against the Cardinals, because the Cardinals aren't really – they're not a good team this year. They're down pretty bad. Traditionally great baseball team.
So it's Cardinals, Pirates, then Phillies. But they're at the
Cardinals.
Phillies starting Monday. So
Okay.
it's the Cardinals, Pirates, and then they head out of town again. But this week, Braves fans are at Truist Park. And I expect them, like I said, to continue to win a bunch of series. All right, let's move on to college ball. The Dawgs hosting Ball State this weekend. If you guys watched Game 1, then, you know, there's a difference here, Lee. If you watch Game 1 versus just seeing the final score, I think it's 2 different stories. And some fans have told me, like, oh, you're worried, you shouldn't be worried. I'm not worried. Let's be clear. I'm just saying there are some things that need to be cleaned up for the Dawgs. If they were facing an opponent that wasn't UT Martin, that wouldn't have gone well in the first half. Let's just put it that way. They have a lot to clean up, and they have a lot of injuries right now. And that's a big part of it. Ladd McConkey, we did not see him play. Branson Robinson out for the season. That running backs room, the depth is an issue right now, in my opinion. Yes, Carson Beck finally had his first start for UGA after a few years of being on the team. You could tell it was his first start. And yes, he admitted as much after the game, saying, sure, he was nervous. First game jitters was something that Kirby wanted his team to take care of against UT Martin, and hopefully they did, because it'll only get harder from here on out. Will it get harder this weekend against Ball State? I don't know about that, but you've got South Carolina the week after that. Auburn, Tennessee's coming, you know, towards the end of the season, but eventually the Dawgs are going to see an opponent that's really going to test them, and are they going to be ready then?
Well, I guess the one really alarming thing for me, at least, was it was 10-0 at halftime. So it was only 10-0 at halftime, and I know it takes time for.
Wasn't it 17 zip at the half?
Sorry. You're right. It was 17-7.
I didn't mean to call you out there.
No, that's good. That's good. So let's see.
But even that, I thought.
And the run game didn't really quite go as well as we thought it might go. But Kirby said they have a really stacked defensive front, UT Martin. They said they like to stun a lot, and they do a lot of twists up front. So it was pretty confusing for UGA offensive linemen, especially first game action. So I don't know. Didn't look bad at all. Didn't look great. Just kind of like they were going.
Final score not indicative of how I thought they did.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, you don't have your A game, you still win by 41. I'd take that.
No, I hear you on that, Lee. But at the end of and there's just one thing I took away from Kirby Smart saying like they didn't even use Brock Bowers as much as they would in like other circumstances, and that's really the only thing I can say that might be positive because the rest needs there needs to be more reps. That the players need to get more reps. Carson Beck needs to get out there, get more like in a game, a real game reps, live reps.
The defense looked all right though.
No, the defense looked good, but that's not what we're talking about right now. And okay, sure, if we're gonna go back to like the national championship from 2021, that defense won it for them. Absolutely, Stetson Bennett's first season, like the offense held it down, but like the defense is what won games for sure. So yeah, I mean, SEC play starts next week right now, and it's in Athens against South Carolina. I don't know how much of competition that's going to really present to the Dogs, but they need this game again. UT Martin and Ball State much needed this season because there's a lot of young guys, a lot of guys who need more time on the field facing competition, and that's what they're going to get this weekend, and you and I will be there to check it out. So we'll definitely bring you all the interviews and the latest once we get it Saturday. Noon kick, not 6 o'clock, Lee. So it's going to be a hot one.
I'll take hot.
But still earlier, better than probably a 6 o'clock against.
Better than getting home after midnight.
Yeah, so you'll take that. Moving on. College football week 1 surprises. Clemson. Did you watch that game Monday night?
I did.
Clemson lost, got upset. I guess people are like, I don't know, like if are week 1's games ever upsets? Because you just don't know. Like that's my thing, right? It's like how can you really call it an upset? I don't call it an upset at all. Clemson lost to Duke last night. All right.
Clemson got spanked by Duke last. They didn't lose. They got spanked.
There you go. Dabo, Sweeney. And by the way, I will say, if you have not been to a Clemson game, by far, like, top 5 experiences.
I think so.
Yes. Didn't you go with me on a Thursday night? You did go with me on a Thursday night when Georgia Tech and them played a few years back.
It was cool.
The campus is beautiful, brick everywhere. When the players run down and hit the rock, I mean, all that. Great experience. Anyways, they still lost last night. Not the way you would think or expect a Clemson team to start the season. But good for Duke. And also, I definitely thought LSU was going to be FSU. So that was another, that was another, like, say what? You know, the game was really good up until it wasn't. Because they kept it close. Yeah, they kept it close.
It was good until the end of the first, or the start of the second half. And then Florida State just came out and just absolutely dominated LSU in every phase of the game.
Well, I thought for sure because LSU returned so many players, returned their main player at quarterback, and
they got Harold Perkins Jr. back, the linebacker. Now they did. They
were an experienced
They were
team.
missing their that nose tackle who was like a freshman All-American 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that did have an impact, but like at the end of the day, man, you got to play with people that are on the field, and they did not make any halftime adjustments, and it looked like Florida State made all the adjustments, all the right calls, and. I tell you what, Florida State looks really, really, really good.
I was going to say, I don't like a college football world where FSU is ranked and UF is not. And not because I'm a Gator fan, I just don't feel like it feels right. And speaking of UF, what was that on Thursday night against Utah? Coach Napier is not going to last very long in Gainesville if he continues this.
No.
I mean, this is his last season of whatever he's trying to do.
He's got what?
Gator fans are not going to put up with this much longer.
At least 11 more games to prove that he's an actual good football coach that belongs to be there.
I think the one thing that would save him is beating Georgia, and that's not going to happen, I don't think. So here we are.
My week 1 surprises were Colorado.
Oh, yeah, that was a heck of a game.
That was crazy.
Yep.
And then also South Carolina. North Carolina dominated you in the second half. Again, you were right there. You were pretty close. Played them pretty well up in the for the first half, and then that second half came, and it also looked like, just like LSU, it looks like you didn't make any adjustments. You got tired, and then they started putting some points on, and I don't even know if South Carolina's going to be that hard of a test for Georgia in a couple of weeks. So it looks like everything got a little easier.
The SEC did not look good. I just want to say that right now.
No, they didn't.
The SEC did not look very good in week 1. So get with the program, guys. But listen, I expect the Dogs not to be tested, and you're not even going to agree with me until they go to Auburn, because you're going to say it's Auburn, whatever. But Auburn's a hard place to play.
Trust me, I know crazy things can happen in Auburn. I trust me.
You've seen it. You want to share with everybody what you saw there?
I was there for the kick 6. I was on the field, and I saw the ball not go through the upright, and then I was like, oh, wait, someone caught it. Oh, wait, Chris Davis is going down the sideline. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay. Game over.
Yeah.
Just sadness.
Yeah.
Oh, look, and then the week before that, wasn't it the prayer in Jordan Hare where they threw the against Georgia, right? Where they threw the Hail Mary up and it deflected? Yeah. And it deflected
that was a heck of a season for Auburn.
Well, that was an insane two like game span where literally the unthinkable happened twice.
Never give up. Never give up. All right, Lee. Week 2 college football. What are you looking forward to? So I'll say it right away. Nebraska's going to Colorado. Okay. And I mean, I think they're going to win that, but
you
still.
You think Nebraska is?
No, I think Colorado's going to win that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't think you were here when we were talking about.
Georgia Tech quarterback playing in Nebraska now, Jeff Sims.
Yeah. I think this is going to, like for Deion Sanders, he's going to get a 2-0 start for his career with the Buffs. If you take a look at the schedule right now, they face 5 ranked opponents and have already knocked one off in TCU. That's a hard schedule. They have like USC, Oregon State.
TCU look pretty good too.
Yeah. So that to me is one of the games that I'll be watching at noon.
I'll be watching Alabama and Texas. Well, I won't be because I'll actually be at the Georgia game, but I would be.
You'll be paying attention to the score, right? I'll be keeping
game.
So Lee and I, every once in a while, I have to text him during the games. I'll text him the score.
I need updates
because he's shooting.
I can't get cell service.
Yeah, he's shooting the game, so I'll just let him know like what's happening. And a lot of times he doesn't want to know, especially if it's a close one. He doesn't want to know. But at halftime, you go and kind of look.
Oh yeah, well they're all in the TVs in the media room over at Georgia. So yeah. You got. I mean, you have to look a little bit.
You're right. All right, so Ole Miss is at Tulane, and I know you're like, wait, what? But
Tulane
Ole Miss
was good last year. Hey.
But they're both ranked, so it's a top 25 matchup between Ole Miss, Tulane. Let's do it. I'm into it. A&M, Texas A&M is at Miami.
Oh, okay.
That could be sneaky good on a Saturday night, right?
Yep.
Let's see what else I would like to see.
Jimbo, wait, you said it was at A&M? Or is
that Miami? No, it's at Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, A&M at Miami. Anything could honestly happen. I would expect A&M to win.
So what is that, Mario Cristobal against Jimbo Fisher?
Yep, that's right. Yep. Cristobal.
I don't know. Who's A&M's quarterback?
Heck, I don't even know that.
Because Haynes King transferred out of, and he's Georgia Tech starting quarterback, but he transferred out of A&M. I can't remember who A&M's quarterback is. Anyway, they scored a whole lot of points this week, so I guess they got to be happy a little bit.
So I would think the game of the weekend is the one that you want to see.
Yeah. Alabama.
And it's a 7 p.m. kick, so I don't even have to tell you the score. You'll be able to watch it or listen to it on our way back from Athens.
Oh, that's right. It's a night game.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I thought it was on another network, and they usually play at noon. So. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Fantastic.
Cool. All right. Moving along to what is on your mind, Lee. I'll let you go first.
Braves absolutely dominating.
That's what's on your mind?
Yeah. I wonder if they really, I know they're good enough to win the World Series. Now they just got to go out and do it.
They just got to do it? All right, so for me, listen, Georgia Tech. Week 1 was not your best showing. We were so happy for you by halftime. Great. I mean, it was looking so good. But the problem last season that you had was in the fourth quarter, you got outscored like 1,000,000-0. There is a stat out there. I don't have it with me, but I have it at my desk.
We'll have it for you tomorrow.
They were majorly, the fourth quarter is not where they shine. They get outscored big time in the fourth quarter. And up until they scored there at the very end of the fourth quarter, Louisville had scored twice. Touchdowns, I want to say. But before, again, even before then, They were completely shut out. Georgia Tech was completely shut out the first half until like the last couple of minutes of the game. And almost like they were trying to make a comeback. Georgia Tech, why are you letting last year's problems sneak into your life this season with a new quarterback and a new offensive coordinator from Georgia?
Okay, well, maybe that was just a one-game fluky instance.
Right. So this week, make it better. In the fourth quarter, play better. Like that's truly, when you take a look at it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. The first game of the true Brent Key era is going to be a win at the Benz against Louisville with a new quarterback. And then in the second half, they came out flat, completely flat, which again, last season's problem was that they could not score in the fourth quarter.
They were winning 28-13 at halftime.
Which isn't like it isn't like a tremendous cushion, but it is a cushion. It's cushion enough.
But they scored 28 points in the second quarter.
Unanswered, right?
Yes.
Yes. I think they scored 4 touchdowns before Georgia Tech did anything.
And then they gave up 26 in the second half, and they only scored 6.
And when was that 6 scored? How many minutes left in the game?
Oh, it was within like 3 minutes left in the game.
So Georgia Tech, I mean, listen, there is something I will say. I do like Brent Key. I think he's changing things over there. He's an alumni. It matters to him. He's like Kirby. But if you're like Kirby, you're going to have to run a tighter ship, and you can't accept what happened in game 1 ever again.
To me, the offense did look better, at least.
Yeah, well, look at their offensive coordinator.
But I'm just saying, it looks like the offense has definitely improved over last year.
We love that. Thanks for watching, guys. Sports Tonight on a Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy week 2 of college football. And tomorrow we'll talk about it, the NFL. Week 1 of the NFL is here on Thursday night. Game 1, you got the Chiefs and the Lions. That's going to kick it off for us. But we'll talk about the Falcons tomorrow. Adios.
See ya.